This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, no, you're not supposed to talk. Okay, got it. All right, it should be working now. You can just fast forward that part when you watch the video. All right, so as you can see here, we have the main screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to embroidery. And make sure there's nothing in the way of the arm, because that will cause problems. And ask me how I know that. I ruined a whole design once because it hit the arm. This was when I first started and I didn't know any better. So, all righty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select Start Embroidery. And when I start embroidery, it'll say the embroidery arm needs to calibrate, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is load a design. So I'm going to go over here to the butterfly. I am going to tap the butterfly. And as you can see, this is the first category. This is called the signature category. And then the FOF exclusive category. And then the next one that you did were flowers and leaves. I've used a lot of designs in here. This first one is a big design, and I added lettering in it to show them how to shape the lettering to go around the parts of the design. And then you just keep going through birds and insects. I made a Valentine wall hanging with the bird. Oh my, these need to be so they need to be pressed. So which bird is it? Number 4. And then I put it here. This is an outline of the bird. And what I did here is I put the bird in this wall hanging, and then I colored it in with a watercolor pencil. Then what we did in this project was we put the wording on the wire that the bird was standing on. And these hearts are from the shape creator in your machine. And you can make the basic heart, you can alter it, make it longer, skinnier, and actually even put designs in it. But that's what that is. Okay? Okay. So that's how you combine designs. So then I am going to long hold and delete that design. Go back to the butterfly. And frames and borders are all in here. This and that. This and is what it is. This and that. This is actually something that you fold in half. It's a little card, like a credit card storage keeper. And that's what that is. And then all the holiday designs. Then the children's designs. These are cute. I've used quite a few of these. I have a little baby ensemble. I don't know where it is right now, in which I use these 3 giraffes. And these 3 giraffes have a little fringe at the top of their head.
My nephew would love the.
Yeah, there you go. How old is he?
He will be 6 in August, and then my niece Claire will be 3 in August.
Oh, you've got plenty. Just sold 4. Yeah, that's an incentive. And then there's a whole category of quilt designs. And recently they added these flowers at the bottom. So from 39 to 43 are those designs. And I started stitching them for a little wall hanging, and then it was no longer spring. And here we are again, a whole another year later, and I'm going to finish that project and get that up on the wall in the store. It's crazy. So then lastly are the kitchen designs, and I love these. I've used so many of these. And one of them, the last row here, 47 through 55, are cross stitch. And what we did in the one class, let me swap out my sample here, is we took regular cross stitch fabric. What did I do? Here, fell on the floor. Regular cross stitch fabric, and we stitched the designs right on the cross stitch fabric. And then this cross stitch is from the regular side of the sewing side of the machine. But as you can see, when you look real close, see, they actually are cross stitches. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So then what you can do is take a ready-made towel. Here's my ready-made towel. I buy these towels when, I can't remember where I bought, Walmart maybe? I don't know. Dollar Tree? I have no idea. But when they're seasonally on sale, I will buy them. This has a little crochet edging at the bottom. And then what I can do, see, is just quickly add this to an existing towel.
Mm-hmm.
And have a ready-made gift. So I would just put it on the towel like this. And I call these my don't touch this towel. So my husband knows that don't use this towel. Don't touch this towel. It's not, it's just here for pretty, being pretty. So I made this towel stand right here. I made that towel stand, and whoopsie. So I don't have any questions anymore, because when I hang it on the oven door, that's when all the questions arise.
That's all right.
So anyhow, that's my trick. So then the last category are the minis. And the minis are just that, tiny little flowers, tiny little leaves. And when you open them up, these little hearts, they go into, typically, here's one I want to show you. They go into the middle or somewhat in that big hoop. So then change the hoop to 120 by 120. And now you can see it a little bit closer. Now, what I did with that one, here's a heart on my wall hanging. Let's see if I can. Do you want to hit this? Sorry. Trying to make it so you can see it up close. See my messy room here. There you go. See how that has all, my arm isn't long. Right here, this one there.
Yeah.
So that is, I just scattered them around inside the heart
Oh, okay.
and use them. And down here in this heart are a bunch of the mini designs too. Plus I put in a cross stitch. Okay, so that should give you some idea of what this machine is capable of doing.
Now, earlier I was just gonna do like my name, just to do that, and it wanted me to put the largest hoop on. Is that because my name was that big, or?
That's right. That was. That's exactly what it was.
Well,
I don't know which font you used. Do you remember what font you used?
I just picked the first one. It was like cursive.
Oh, that's the biggest one. Yeah, one of the biggest ones.
Oh,
So, all right, so let's go to the fonts. All right, so
Okay.
now I'm gonna delete this design.
Yeah,
And
that I just picked the Adina.
yeah, that's one of the bigger ones. All right, so you go into there and see these sizes here? These sizes whoops. There, these sizes represent how tall that letter would be in the font.
Okay.
So remember that 25 millimeters is 1 inch. So if you double it, this font right there, those are 2-inch millimeters lettering. So if you're unsure of how big that is, on the back of the cover is a little ruler, and you can see it in inches and centimeters. So
Okay.
this right there is 60 centimeters. So that's a big font. So what I do is I love curls. Curls is the one that I use with this gnome. And then what was I using? Bell is a tiny one. So Bell is not even, says it's Bell is 10 millimeters. So it's less than a half an inch. So that's a small font, especially when you string them together. So yes, that's what happened. Now the other big one is ellipse. So the first 2 fonts are for big lettering. So let me see if I put in ellipse, and I have to put in a letter. I'll put in A, then I close this. That's how big that font is. So these blocks are 1 inch, so it's a little bit over 2 inches with that curve at the top. Okay, does that help?
Totally, because I was like, why would I ever? I was like, I just wanted to put it on my small hoop, and I was like, it's telling me I need the biggest. So I was like, we need to abort this mission. Clearly, something's wrong.
Yes, good idea. Now, let me show you my Valentine designs again, because this represented all of the fonts. Let me get that out of the way. All of the fonts in the machine. This is the Adina that I just made smaller. And I don't, maybe this X and O is the ellipse. This is an umlaut from one of the fonts, because not all the fonts have characters. And then these little hearts are from the mini designs. This is a little mini design put together with a heart. So this, did I put curls? I don't see curls. I didn't think it fit well with this. This design here uses a variegated thread. So that, something like that gives you a better idea of how the fonts all work together.
So the font sizes are set, and you can't make them smaller or bigger?
Yes, you can. There's a trick though. There's a trick. That's what I'm going to show you today.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Now, what we're going to do is I am going to show you. All right. What else? So we have the insert designs, insert fonts. You can actually insert the stitch fonts, and those are from the sewing side of the machine. So you tap that, and you can put in these smaller fonts. So for example, there's a grand alphabet, and then it takes you into another screen altogether. So what I do is I just tap that and pick that. And then pick it down here. So there's the grand alphabet. And there is the A. And then, you know, you can spell whatever. Let's see. I'm going to delete that. So if I spell Kristen, K, whoops. See, these are all uppercase. And then I hit the keyboard to close it. Come on, there. And then I close these. And then I hit OK. There it is. Brings it into your embroidery side. See, so you can actually bring in the stitch fonts from the sewing side. And now that I would rotate. Again and again. There. Now that is a line font, whereas this A here is a satin stitch. See the stitching is going across like this. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If not, rewind the tape and look at it again. All right. So I hope that when we get to doing the towel, that it will make more sense. So I'm going to just delete all this and delete that. So you can bring in the designs from the machine. These are all the embroidery designs from the machine. These are all the fonts, both in the machine, on the embroidery side and the sewing side. And then you can bring any of the stitches into the machine as well. So this is where I might bring in, see, there's that needle art cross stitch right there. And there's one cross stitch. And then I would just copy it, copy, and just duplicate it, that sort of thing. I don't know if you can see that, but that's how cross stitch got put into that towel. And I just line them all up. So I took this one and I put it in here like so. I took this one and put it in here like so. See? And there it is. So there's 3 cross stitches and they will sew as one. Okay, now I'll delete those. All of them. Delete all. Yes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to save the gnome. So we're going to go into home. There we go. And go into mySewnet blog. I'm still waiting for a Valentine design here. They better hurry up, getting a little late. And then we're going to go down to this one under tips and hints. And the first one is the applique beard. The next one is the one with a filled stitch beard. And then this one is the striped hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save that gnome fill stitch beard in my gnomes and put it right in that category. I opened up the category that I had created with a new folder and call it gnomes. Now that's going to be a problem because right now it's going to write over that. So I'm going to cancel that. And I've got to tap the right one. There's the applique. And then I'll tap the applique. And now it's saved in my gnome folder. I can close this out. Okay.
Okay.
Were you able to do that?
I'm doing it now, I think.
Give it a try. I'll wait on you.
I saved them, but I didn't put them in a folder.
Oh, that's okay. I was just trying to show you how to make a folder. If your cloud gets as busy as mine, you might want to make a folder for certain designs and group them together. Okay?
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to go into the embroidery. And the 120 by 120 hoop is going to be a problem. So let's go back up to the next size that we have, and that's a 260 by 200. That should fill that frame. So here's our design again. So that looks like it will fill the frame, no problem. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we are going to go to this cloud. We are going to find our gnome, and mine, remember I put in the gnome, and I have little pictures of them, but the first two look the same. So what I can do is I can toggle back and forth between the pictures of them and the list. So when I tap this icon in the upper right-hand corner, it will list the designs. When I tap them, it will show the gallery of designs in that screen. So now I know that this first one is the applique. So I'm going to long hold and add that to the middle of my hoop. Now, how do I know it's the middle? I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edit, and I am going to move it to the middle. There, and now it's in the middle because it says 0, 0. Got it?
No, well,
I'll wait.
mine's stuck on something else. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got it.
Got it. All right. So now we want to add our lettering. So in order to add our lettering and not have a problem with our center design, we have to just tap off of it and the green box goes away. Now, I can make this view smaller down here by using the slider between 100%, and it will go down to 90%. Or I can go and zoom in and to 90%, 100%, whichever you feel comfortable doing. I can do the same thing with just pinching, like on an iPad.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I don't have those little grid things on my screen.
Oh, here's where you find them. Go into hoop options. And right down here, I have it set for 1 inch, which is 25.4. And then I turn the grid to on. And you want to use the grid options when you're designing always. Okay.
No grid on.
You have it now?
Yep.
Good. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add our font. So we're going to go into A, and I use curls because I thought it was funky and cute to go with my gnomes. So what I did is I went to curls, and I usually start with the one in the middle. So I'm going to start with 20. And that opens up the screen that you see that's just like your phone. And so I am going to type in I space uppercase, love, lowercase, u, space, and then I would tap OK.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So now I'm going to close A, which is the font, and you can see it comes in as blue. Now, each font will come in their own color. So if I go back and I choose a different font, tap off, because otherwise it'll change that font, and I go into graphite 20, and I type in the same wording, rather. You can barely see it because it's covering the blue one, but there, if I move it away, now you can see that that comes in a different color. And that just didn't have the same cute factor as this curls does. So
Yeah.
when I want to delete something, I can just put a box around it and hit the trash can. Okay. So here is a straight font. Now, when you look at this font, let's see if you can see that. You can see that it's curved.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to show you how to make a curved font because it's very simple. So what you're going to do is you are going to long hold on that I love you, and the smart toolbox opens up. And it opens up with many different features or actions, and we don't want to delete it. So, but we do want to edit the embroidery text. So let's embroider the edit the embroidery text, and you will see that it takes you back to where you left off.
Mm-hmm.
And over here on the left side is an arc with A, B, and C. And if you tap that arc, you'll see the different text shapes. So the first one is in the straight line. That's the default. Then the next one is the arc to the top, arc to the bottom, a soft arc, and a top and bottom, and even a softer arc, top and bottom. So if you just tap it, you can see right away what it looks like. And I'm pretty sure I used that one right there. Maybe it was this one. I don't know. So what I would do is I drag it away and put it so that the center is on that. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like the center is on the vertical line in the grid. Whoops. Now, what I have at the top here, when I tap it and move it, is a screen that gives you the X and the Y coordinates. So if I move it like this, come on. See how the screen pops up? So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go in here to the X and I'll put it at 0, 0 in another screen, in the move screen. All right, easy, right? That was easy.
Yeah.
All right, now, every time you put a space in it, it reacts as if it's a stitch. Even though there's no stitch there, it's just a space, it reacts like there is. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take that space out and then I can play around with it. So, but I'll show you where that space is a little bit later. So now I tap off the, I hit the keyboard to close that, Kristen. And then I'm going to do the bottom part. And I am going to take the curls 20 again. And I'm going to tap gnome. And what I did is I want it to be obvious. You may not. So then I went into the characters or the numbers. And I noticed that there's no little hyphen. Not that I could see anyhow. Okay, so what I did is I took the I and say it's a straight line. I just put that I in there, and then you'll see how we're going to change that.
Okay.
And then I put in the rest of the word. And I think I use lowercase. Yes, I use lowercase. And I hit OK. There's my gnome. Now I can change the colors of these, but not yet.
Okay.
So if I wanted to, I could long hold and go into embroidery text again and choose the under arc and then bring that down here. But for whatever reason, I left it on a straight path. This text shape section is called text on a path. So there's the path, and you're putting text on it. This is justification. And you can justify it in the center, which is what we have. And then you can space about, justify them all to the right and all to the left. So if I wanted to put this all to the left, right, that's the right. Oh yeah, because you're justifying the lettering all to the right. I could do that, but I am going to make sure it stays in the center. I'm trying to do basic lettering with you so that when you get this under your belt, you can move on. And then I am going to hit the straight line on a path. I'm going to bring that down here and put the lettering on one of the grids, the straight grid there, and hit OK. And there it is. So now I tap off, and I'll fix that I in a minute, and I'll put gnome matter what. And so that is curls again. Space. Hit OK, close that, and there it is, no matter what. Then I'm going to drag this down and see where that rotating icon is, that little circle with a dot in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to try to line that up right underneath that, no matter what. And it's all inside that screen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And tap off. So now we're going to go to the layers. So this is a layers panel right up here. And it shows stitching the gnome first, because that's what I put in first. Then I put in I love you. And then I put in no. And then I put in matter what. And that is my preferred way of doing it, is putting the design in first that has the most or the largest amount of stitches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now in order to alter this one, I have to do something very important, and I have to ungroup it, because all the letterings come in, they're already grouped together.
Mm-hmm.
If I ungroup it, there it is, all ready to go. So they are all selected, and I am going to deselect the G. Nope, there we go. And only select the I. And as you can see, that I is now in view. It's got a box around it. Let me go in. I can actually go in right to that with this icon here, right there. I can zoom in, and let me close that. There it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because it has a box around it and only it, I can play around with that one. So what I'm going to do is first, I am going to rotate it. So let me move this screen up so you can see what you're doing. There it is. And I am just going to rotate it 90 degrees, just like that.
Okay.
Now I am going to make it smaller with this rescale. And it takes me down as far as it can go in rescale. And that is 16 millimeters wide, which is approximately half an inch.
Okay.
So now that's not small enough. So I am going to go into the double butterflies here. And there's the butterfly. That butterfly is resizing. So now I can take this and make it as small as I want. And when it's as small as I want, then I hit OK. And there it is.
How small did you make it?
Let me check. I'll tap on the eye again. 10 millimeters wide. Remember, the first one is the width, and then the second one is the height.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have these spaces in here. Oh, whoa, oh, sorry. We have to get out of this screen. So we can see. So what we're going to do is close the edit screen, go up here to the layers.
Oh no, I did something.
And put
Nope.
these guys back together. So what I need to do is I need to tap this multi-select screen, because now I want to put all the gnome back together again. I tap these. Okay, and then I hit right here, this is called group. And you'll notice now in the layers panel, it goes to the bottom. Anything you work on goes to the bottom. So if I made the gnome, if I took him in and made him, resize him, it would go to the bottom. So anything you alter or move around or anything will go to the bottom of the sequence. Now I want to bring it back. So what I just do is I hang on to this because it's selected and I just move it up one, just like that. And now I have it back in order again. Now I want to show you how to take out the spacing. So as I get a drink. My throat's awful dry. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to tap this and it comes in grouped, remember? So now I am going to ungroup it and it splits it apart. There are your two spaces. The waste of my time. I'm very important. I don't have that time. So I am going to deselect just the letters, turn them off, in other words. And this space is now selected, and this space rather is now selected. So what I'm going to do is move it to the left and stretch. Move it to the left and into the trash. Then I am going to select the phrase again, LOVEIOU, and group those together. And now that went to the bottom. So now that went to the bottom, I am going to go up here. And I'm back in order again. Now we can select the matter what, ungroup that. Again, deselect the lettering. And swipe to the left through your trash can. Then we'll go into select all again. Matter, ERWHAT. And that's where it belongs, at the bottom.
Okay.
Now I am going to select I love you no matter what. And I'm going to put all the lettering together as a group.
Why
Then,
do you delete the spaces? What?
well, because a machine will stop and then it's like, why is it stopping? So then you have to start it up again to go to the next letter. So I'm going to show you how this will stitch out all at once, all together.
Oh, okay.
Good question, though. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that I have this all together as one, I am going to go to the palette and it lists all of the colors that are in the design. So if you go here to the first color, and remember, this is RA40, Robeson Anton, Rayon Thread 40. And I don't know what GS. I have no idea what GS is. Well, that stumped me. Gooderman, maybe? I don't know. So anyhow, I go to the first one and I select multi-select. So if you're not sure what all of these are, go to the icon, tap this, multi-select, tap this, select equal. Now, what that means, it is going to change all of the same color blocks at one time. That is your friend when you have a lot of lettering. So I'm going to pick this and look at it. It picked all of it at once. Woohoo! Now,
I'm not sure
going
that mine did.
to
Well, I'm not sure that mine did.
make sure that you select the first one, the number 1 first,
Oh, okay.
and now select that icon. This one right here.
Okay.
Did it work?
Okay. Yeah.
Yay! All righty, now change the color. Something you can see other than blue. And I think I used red. Yeah, so I could see it. So I went over here in the red category. And I can go up here into the darker red. There's a darker red. And now it'll change all of those to red. Just like that. And it calls it custom. In other words, that's a custom color that I created. Okay. Now, in order to get rid of all of those, I have to deselect them. And rather than doing them one at a time, I just turn this off. And it turned it all off. I love this machine. It's just, I mean, I know other machines. I'm not as familiar with Brother, but Brother and Baby Lock are the same. And gnome and Bernina. I have a class on Monday on a Bernina machine. Show her how to use it. What other machines are there? Brother, Baby Lock, gnome. Viking, I know the Viking line too, because people come in and take my class that have the Viking. And we go from there. Okay, so I can help other people. That was my goal, is to get other brands into the store, and then I help them learn their machine. This one lady came in last week to a class, and she had a Baby Lock, a little baby Baby Lock, and her daughter had given it to her daughter-in-law, one of them, and she had no idea how to use this machine. And I you know, she knew the basics pretty much, but I showed her how to use the machine more than she did. And she was just so excited to be able to figure out the different ways to use the machine.
Yeah.
That's always a plus.
Yeah.
Okay, now in order to close this, I just close the palette. Anything that has turned green, I change it so that it's all closed. Everything is closed here. There's no green icons anywhere. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure I can get back into seeing this all as one. So then the A screen, let me tap this to the A, and it's zoomed to all. So I just remember it as all. And there it is. And then I can go back to, I can just drag this down to about 100 or move it up. Now I can change the lettering and move this up a little bit, but you see what happens? The gnome stays stationary.
Uh-huh.
So what I want to do is I want to take this lettering and put it in the middle of the hoop. Tap off, and I can move the gnome if I want to. I can move him, whoops. And if you have a hard time grabbing him, go back to the lettering. No, I don't mean that, layering. Turn this one off and select the gnome. Now he's selected. I can drag him up a little further, or I can use the radial dial down here, and I can move him up 1 millimeter at a time. There, now he's up a little higher, so he's center in the design. Tap off, and now there he is in the middle of the lettering. Now I want to make sure that he stitches out first and then the lettering. So I looked in the layers and it's good. I'm happy with that. So now I go down here to the heart and I have a new design. I am going to open up my folder, and you could just save it into your cloud. And I am going to label it Gnome Design. Anything that's different than the other ones. No matter what, you know, just whatever you decide to name it.
Okay.
Now what's nice is if you don't have the embroidery arm on, you can still do this designing with this machine. You just can't stitch it out. And a lot of times if I'm sewing, piecing together, I put, even though I could use a machine just as it is, I have a table that I put on when I'm doing a lot of piecing because it makes the surface nice and flat. Okay.
Okay.
So the next step would be to stitch this out. So in order to do that, you would go to Embroidery Stitch Out. And it'll roll into asking you what hoop to use. Well, let me find my hoop. That was. Okay, now I can just put the bottom of the hoop. I don't need to put the whole hoop in. Because I'm just going to show you a couple things. I'm not actually going to embroider it. Uh-oh. What happened?
The hoop fell apart.
Oh, no.
Oh no, it's fine. It just separated and one part fell to the ground.
Oh, I thought those little parts came out. Oh, yikes.
No.
Okay. That makes me feel better. And then I hit OK.
Did you
All right.
attach your hoop?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Watch. I just attached the bottom. I don't need both pieces. All it's reading is this arm right here.
Okay.
All right. Now there's a couple things I want to do. Oh, come on, focus. Why is that not focusing? There we go. Too close, I guess. You want to make sure that active stitch technology is checked, because when we do a straight line, basting stitch or something like that, it may not be the best, because active stitch technology is designed for any zigzag stitches, you know, when the needle moves left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing something that has all lined work on it, I turn it off. And I'll show you. Trying to think of something right now that I have in my room that'll show you. I can't find anything. All right. So what I want to do now is I have my automatic thread cutter. I'm going to turn that off. Actually, what I'm going to do is just change it to no jump stitch trim. I'm going to use the automatic thread cutter, but it'll cut off at the very end. And then right here is what's really important. If I don't choose color block sort and color block merge, it'll sew the I and stop, the L and stop, the Y, you know, the E, O. Each letter, it will stop after sewing it, and you have to keep pushing the start button. So when I select color block sort and color block merge, it will take all those red letters with the custom thread configuration and put them together in like a little, I'll use an analogy as a little bowl. And then it will put them, you know, it'll merge them together. So it will stitch as one whole design. Okay. I don't want monochrome because that'll change the gnome too as well. I just want color block sort and color block merge. And because we used a custom color, it won't confuse it with the gnome.
Okay.
The colors in the gnome. So let's hit OK. So there's the first color. So it's showing, yours may be showing the whole design, is it?
I see the whole design in all of its colors.
Okay, so right here is, oh, look at that. It shows stitching out the feet first, and then I tap this butterfly, that's the ghost mode. Look at that. That is weird. So when I tap the ghost mode, or actually what I did is I turned it off so it shows the whole design. And now when I select it again, because it isn't green, there, now it's green. It just shows each individual part. So what it does is, that's weird. That stitches the feet and then it goes to the lettering. Then after the lettering, wow. And it stitched, well, look at that. That was so weird. So then what it will do, I selected the parts of the gnome. So what I did is I skipped all of these. Okay, I skipped all the lettering, although I think you could probably do it this way. I don't think that's a problem. But I was trying to point out that, let me see if I can turn this off. If I turn off the merge, it may not change it. No, it didn't change it. Because it's already populated, so it won't change it. So then what I would do is I would stitch the feet first. I would stitch this first. Then go down to 1:2 and continue stitching right through there. When I get to the end here, which is, that's white, and that's the beard. That's really weird. That's the little highlights here. I know you can't see it, but these little highlights right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll say embroidery finish. That's okay. You don't have to turn off anything. You just scroll all the way down and select the lettering, which is 2:1. That's bizarre. Now, I'm going to try this again because, you know, I'm challenged. I'm taking up the challenge. So now I'm going to go back to embroidery edit. So all of my settings. I'm going to go to embroidery stitch out. Then I'm going to turn off color merge. And color, I'm going to turn off both of these. Let me see what I get. So by turning them off, you see it took and put the gnome first, which is what I want.
Uh-huh.
So that when I come down to this and I'm ready to stitch that out, I can actually go back and change it up here to color block sort, puts them all together, and then merge. But it takes me back to that weird merging. I should do this on my other machine to see if it's the same. All right. So that's what I would do. I would turn off color block sort and color block merge until I get to the lettering, and then I would stitch out the gnome. All right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to select the colors and move and then move this over here so you can see. So the first color are the shoes. Second color is the body. Now, I had a question yesterday. There's so many different colors. Do they want you to buy all this thread? Is that why there's so many different colors? No. Of course we want you to buy thread, but the color stops are there to tell the machine to stop. And you either insert something, some type of action, or put a piece of fabric down, or change a color. Yes, those are how the software is designed. So when there's a color change, the machine stops. When there's an action change, the machine stops with a different color. And it might be totally something weird. You could put a blue, certainly. And then a light blue arms. And then red mittens, if you want. I treated them like hands. So, as you can see, I made the mittens pink.
Yeah.
So I make the mittens pink, I changed the mouth to pink and the heart to pink. And then I used a little piece of fleece for his beard. Okay? Now, this color right there, you can barely see, but it is the outline of the beard.
Oh, okay.
Then it's the hat next. Then it's the pink heart. Then it's the nose. And then it's the mouth. So see what I did is I took that black coloring and I just made it pink. I didn't want him to look like he had a black mouth. And then the last step was to add the accents. Now within this design, it will stitch a placement line and stop. You'll put the little fleece down and stop. Then you'll do the tack down, which is the second part, and stop. And then you trim around the beard and then start the machine again and it does the satin stitching. That's how the applique is digitized. Sorry. Okay, let me see. Try and get it. Okay. Then when I get to the lettering, if I don't do colors, if I just do color sort, it goes back and does one letter at a time. But if I do color merge, now they'll stitch out as one. So that's the get around or the workaround to the machine. So let me fire up my icon too, because they talk to each other. What happened? Oh, let me see what happened. My machine became unplugged. That's not a good feeling. All right, so we're going to fire up my icon too. You'll see that it looks very similar. Mm-hmm. Software is what is different. Okay, so It just, again, it takes a while to everything calibrates, etc. So now I'm going to go into embroidery. The screen looks the same, just different color. And instead of a cloud, I have a folder. And then I go into the gnomes. And there's my first design. All right, now let's see what it does. So now I am going to, instead of embroidery edit, it has go. And I can, again, select all these and hit OK. Oh, I don't want to do that. Let me go back to see if I can do it. I don't think I can do it this way. That was a workaround we asked to have back on the screen. All right, that's okay. I'll go back to embroidery edit. Stitch out. So what I want to do down here is, where are you? Color sort. Oh, color options right up here. Color sort and color merge. All right, let's see what the story is. Same way, I'll be darned. There must be something weird about this design. Okay, that's the way it is. Now up here, you can see what it says. We complained. I didn't, because I could figure it out, but many ladies and men complained. So they put the lettering underneath the icon to tell you what it is. Well, now also it's reduced the size of the icons. So that's how the software is a little bit different. Okay.
Okay.
Gotta be the file. So if I take this into my sewing machine, because I can, and if I select it, my airplane pops up and I can go to send. Why is there no? All right, let's refresh. Well, that's interesting. Well, that's not going to work, obviously. Yesterday, you wouldn't believe it. I had such a bad day as far as machines are concerned. It was like there was some bad luck floating around that store. So, don't know why. It just was there. Everything's okay here. I'm going to close you down, girl. And not worry about it. Let's see if I can send it to this laptop from here on this machine. So I should be able to do it both. So let me go to embroidery edit. Tap that, edit. There's my airplane. There we go. Who knows what happened? I don't. So the name of this machine is Queen, because she is the queen. Princess is the new one. And then this is my laptop. So what is happening is I now come over here to the Zoom screen. Well, I'll be darned. Let me show you what's going on. Share screen. And there we go. Now you should be able to see the screen I'm sharing. Can
Mhm.
you? You can.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. Didn't bring the gnome over.
Yeah, and it moved the eye too.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Look at that. Wow. All right. I don't know why it's doing this, but this little, and when it sends it over, I can't, the only way I can modify it is to go into digitizing and move things around. And here's a modified design on this screen, but I am just going to roll this over into digitizing right here. Huh. No. Well, okay. I'm not going to waste any time. That's obviously more than I want to take in today. So that's how come it changed it. It saw the black and then that's it. Didn't show the rest of the, when it read it on my machine, but it didn't read it properly on both machines. Well, that's very interesting. So now the question is, if I take and put another design in here that's on the machine, perhaps it probably should read it. That's what I'm thinking. So, but that's not the point. The point was to create this and to put that on the towel. So that's pretty much the lettering basics. Now, as far as other designs, this is one of my favorites, Janine Babbage. And this is her pattern, the collection. And so when you buy something that's out there on the net, make sure you have the VIP format. It will read the other formats, but what it is it'll read VIP and select all the colors and the stitching, and you won't have any, you shouldn't have any problem with a VP3. Now I misspoke, I said VIP, it's VP3.
Okay.
So this, then I added to the towel a little ruffle and then a band. And that was in the class as well. Because this one, basically what this was applique lesson right here and here and here. And then we added the band and the ruffle to the bottom of a ready-made towel. This towel was something that we purchased at the store. Okay, now here's another one. This one, wrinkled, is a quilt square that can be found in the collection, in the designs. And I'll show you where that's in the quilt category. And what I just did is I made it into a pot holder, and then we just stitched, we took the whole towel and gathered it right here and stitched it right to the part of the middle of the pot holder. And then this X and O is from the applique creator that we have in our machine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then this was a design, and I don't even know if it's still on the website because they've redesigned their social media website. The support, it's called Studio now, and these were slippers that came with this free lips design, albeit it's not the greatest, but it was something that I could make and use as a sample in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is the mySewnet project that we did last year. This Valentine, this is with the Grand Dream hoop, and it includes applique with a fabric that has multiple colors and designs in it. I wanted to use the fabric, and you can see the fabric along the border. It has, oh, there it is. Okay. See, this was the flower version, and then there was a matching version that had layers of these colors, and that's what we used. We cut apart these designs and used them. We cut apart the layers, let me put it that way. And then this is what the thread velvet looks like. So if you take a look close up at the thread velvet, you can see it comes in as a solid, and I'll show you how that works. Comes in as a solid, and then you cut through all of those layers. So here it is as a solid right there. So there's a whole bunch of different thread colors that are piled one on top of the other. And then I have this little tool. It's kind of a cool little tool. It's like an old-fashioned razor because it has a sharp edge right underneath there. But it's made to look pretty. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chisel away back and forth. And I'm cutting now through the layers. Well, or not. There. Okay, so it looks like this. I'll zoom in to show you. See how it's starting to bloom, it's called. And then I just keep cutting until I get to the bottom layer. I don't want to cut all through the bottom layer because that'll expose the fabric. I just want to get as close as I can to the last color. Just be there, I cut too far. I went into the color. I know you can't see that, but if there, see, there's the fabric right there. I guess it'll be okay. It's not going to show, but isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
That's the thread velvet.
Huh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So where did that come from? That came from mySewnet. So let me see if I can pull up mySewnet. We'll see. And mySewnet library. There we go. And now I am going to share my screen. I want to make sure it was up. And I don't want to show that. So I'll close that. And close that one. And is that one up? Can you see that screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you would do is, see, this is a new studio here. So if you go down the studio, there's the explore, news, how-to, projects, and then I have some favorites of mine already. I might have shown you this last week too. And then it has different categories. And here's a cute little heart denim pillow with a chenille heart. And then here are a variety of new projects that have been added. So that's a fireworks mobile pouch in the hoop. Here's a embroidered mobile pouch with monogram. And then let's see if I can find, here's the right arrow. Let's see what else they have. Oh, remember I showed you that table runner last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's an easy one. There's another one. Oh, they've been busy. This is just a plain sewing bag. So you could do that with the sewing side. And then here's an easy placemat with just blocks of fabric. Whereas the other one is embroidered and the spiral wizard and all that. That's to show you how to use the software. But let's go to the library. So let's see what's new. And collections are what's new. One of the new collections is Valentine. So there's the collection would be $49.99, and then there's tiaras and crowns. Oh, my granddaughter would love that. Holy moly. And then there's garden applique. I already have this in the original CD. And then just several collections that they've included. Oh, look at the cute monsters. My grandson would love that. I should have made him a monster for Valentine's Day. Grandma was slacking this week. So then after we go to the collections and we go down to see the latest designs, here's the project in the hoop, which with that design. Let's see what else. Oh, look at all these designs. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, I could just sit here and sew all day. Now these are ribbon hearts.
Oh, okay.
And that's with the ribbon attachment. And so that's what it looks like. So there's a 3/8 inch ribbon. And then if you put all three of them together, you get this configuration. Those are pretty big hearts though. They're 5 by 6. So, and then it shows you how to use that attachment. And then here's some related designs. That would be cute. That one right there. So then this airplane sends it right to the machine. So if I go up here to this design, I can send it to my SewNet enabled device or my cloud. So I would send it directly to my machine. So I would send it to Queen. And let's see what it does on my screen. All right, so what it's going to do, and this is something you need to know. I don't know if I don't remember if I showed you this last week or not. So what it does is it puts it on top of whatever I have there currently. So what I need to do is go into layers and just drag this across because I've already saved it. I don't have to worry about it. And this one, I could actually leave that if I wanted it. And there's that ribbon design. So maybe I'll do that today. So I have a shirt to wear on Monday. I don't know. We'll see. I'll send it to you if I do.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me close this screen and stop sharing that screen. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to show you, I'm going to remove this. Well, no, I'll leave it. I am going to show you how to upload a design from a collection that you may have purchased. you can do it two ways. If the collection comes with a USB, for example, like Kimberbell, some of them come with a USB. Let me see if I can find one. So here's a collection that is called the Garden Guild collection by Kimberbell. And here's the Garden Guild. And what I would just do is I would put that directly into the machine. Right here. And then I would tap on the USB symbol. Then I have all these different designs. And what I would do is find the embroidery design, which is this folder right here. And the VP3 is right there. And then I would upload to my machine that design. And there it is on top of my heart. Well, that's not so big after all, because that's a little it's a little doily type thing that you put under plants. It's very cute.
Okay.
But I don't want that. So I am going to, again, go into layers, wipe to the left, and delete. So now I'm back to my heart. Okay. Now, some of her designs, Kimberbell, come in a CD. And the one I'm currently working on is called Cuties. And it has a book with a CD. So here's my St. Patrick's Day version. So the book has multiple, there's 6 different table toppers. And then inside is the CD. So you will put it in the CD. A lot of our ladies have a MacBook, and so we transfer those to a stick for them. My new laptop doesn't have a CD, so fortunately I have an older laptop that still has a CD player. So I just transfer that onto a stick.
Yeah, I don't think mine has a CD player.
No, I wish they'd go to all USBs, but this is a brand new book. I don't know what they were thinking, but probably too expensive. I'm quite certain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen where I put my Kimberbell designs. So let me go back into the Zoom and share my screen. Maybe I'll already be there. I don't know. And right here is my OneDrive. And in my OneDrive, because as I said, I have the 2 laptops, so I like them to talk back and forth. And there is my Kimberbell Cuties. Here are my designs. And then when I open them up, for example, here is the Lucky, and I gnome it. And I open it up in the software. And there it is. And then I just send that again to the machine. And that little bubble is up in the upper right-hand corner. I think I showed you that last week. But there's a little cloud up here in the upper right-hand corner of the software.
Yeah.
And you'll send it directly to your machine. And then that's another way of putting your design on your machine. So I would not use a stick that held all of your designs. Of course, for you, you're limited. You have very few designs, if any. And so that would be possible. However, some of my ladies like to collect designs And it's not necessary to put them all on one stick. Leave them, create a folder and save them to that folder. Okay, so that's how I do that. And let's see what I have here. I don't know. I can't get out of this. And then I have a whole bunch of Kimmerbell in a separate folder. And then I have a couple of designs that I purchased from the vault. And one of them is Let Me Call You Tweetheart. And they have, let's see, what am I doing next? I'm doing the 6x10 tree. So then I would open it up in software and again, send that to the machine that in that way. Okay, so that's how you would use other design collections that are built in the machine or in the mySewnet library. Now realize the mySewnet library are you seeing the mySewnet library? Good. All right. So what you can do is you can purchase these, but since I have a subscription, I can just use them as often as I want without purchasing them. So I can pick a number of them. So let's see what this one looks like. There's what it looks like right there. And so I can purchase a number of these if I want to, or I can just use them as many times as I want, as long as I have a subscription. If I drop the subscription, which I can't see in the future at this point, then I can't use them unless I own them. So that's how that works. But there are a bunch of other Valentine's designs because they have a whole category when you go into what's new. And then you go down here, they have the latest designs, but then they have the popular categories as well. So there's Valentine's Day, and I'm sure it's loaded with different designs. These are yarn, so that would be cute as a design too. I mean, I probably have a bazillion pillows that I make, but then I found one that I don't know where it is, but it's a postcard that you can stitch out and then put in the mail. I didn't get my act together to be able to do that. So I've got 162. I could probably find something here that would be appropriate. This is an endless design. And an endless design means that you can create a specific border of designs along the bottom, like, or see here on the along the side of this little wall hanging. But I looked at these hearts and I thought they would be perfect along the bottom of a towel, you know, the towel again. And there's connectors in this design too. So if I send it to my laptop and I open up the design in my laptop right there, if I look at it closely, you can see that right in the upper right hand corner, let me see if I can zoom in. Right here are connectors, but I could easily just connect these designs. So let me show you how I would do that. Now this software is the one that you have.
Yes.
So what I would do is I would find a long and skinny hoop, like the big hoop that we have, 360 by 260, hit OK. And then I would rotate this, and see that number 45-degree rotate symbol right there. Then I would click that and click it again. And then I would duplicate it. It's just like the machine. So I would make a copy of it and line it up, duplicate it, and line it up. Now, all of those I'm not sure are in a line. So what I would do is I would put a box around it. And then here is the alignment tool right here. And what I can do is do a horizontal alignment. And I can align it center if I want, or distribute horizontally is what I would want. And then if I want to line it up vertically, I would go vertically and align the bottom or the top. And then that is not good. So there is an undo here somewhere. Where is my undo? Oh, it's hiding. All right, let's see if Control Z works. No. Oh, here's my undo right there. So in this case, I would use the point right up here at the top. What that does is just reverse it if you click on it. But I would line those up and there's my design. So but some of the other endless designs have little markers that you can line up. And that was a whole nother class. Okay. So what I have done is I have tried to give you a good basic set of lessons rather, that you could use this machine without someone holding your hand. Let me put it that way. But if there's something more that you want to learn how to do, then by all means reach out to me and send me an email, and I would be happy to put a lesson together for you, because I do have additional lessons. So if you wanted to learn how to do an endless design, I could show you how to do that. They're in the manual, in this manual here. And it shows you which designs are, oh, you know, let me show you another way to do it. There's a back door. Hang on. So let me tap this. All right, so there's my heart. I'm going to get rid of my heart. Down here, I'm going to delete it. Trash can. So if you go into your house or your home, this is your home screen, and you go into Open Help Center. I almost forgot this. I'm glad I was talking. Rambling on me. These are garment techniques right here, sewing techniques, quilting techniques, and then lastly is the embroidery techniques. So let's say you want to learn how to do applique embroidery. If I tap on that, it shows you several different types of appliques. Surface embroidery shows you different types of way to add dimension to your designs. So if I went into thread velvet, it shows me step by step how to do this, right? And if there's a video, it'll show you a little movie screen. And we're still prepping the hoop, creating the velvet. So it shows you how to remove, and like I showed you, cutting that design. However, when you go into content, these are all the designs in your machine that currently have thread velvet. So there's that rose. Now, some of them were in the flower section. Some of them were in the signature selection, these two here. I don't know what this is. Oh, let's see what it does. Okay, now I'll close this. Oh, there it is. So that's just a plain flower. See, I found something new. That's just a plain flower. That's all thread velvet. Let me zoom in. Now, one of the keys, Kristen, to let you know it's a thread velvet design is check the colors. See how there's two colors there that you can't see? The one color is the first color, and that's when it blooms, you'll see that color. And then the second one is that top color. So what happens is when you go to stitch out, and okay. So there's the first color, and then there's the second. So some of them have actually 3 layers, and that's what I had with the pillow toppers that I showed you, the 3 layers. So let's go back to, let's delete this. Oh, we can't do anything, remember, and got to go back to embroidery stitch out, or edit, get out of embroidery. And we can just delete that. And we can go back to tutorials again, help center, embroidery techniques. I can close this, and anything that is a specialty hoop embroidery. So the one was the Grand Dream, and that's that big hoop. You don't have that. This one is a texture hoop. And then these are all the endless hoops. And then you just rotate through. But again, more importantly is these are all the designs in your machine that are endless designs. And I did a class at the store on endless designs. So you can use them as individual designs, or you can use them as a continuous design. This one I use is a felting design right there. Now, of course, that's not going to fit. So we're going to close this. And then in order to see them, if I have enough room, then I put that. There you go. So I can get 2 of those designs. Now, I made that on I made a little basket. Let me look at it. Okay. So what I did, this is my little knitting basket. I can't tell you the last time I was knitting, but I save it for a sample. And as you can see, with this design right here, there's where I joined it. One, and then down there is, you just barely can see where I joined the 2 designs. But what I did is this sloppy fleece, probably wasn't my best choice, but it's what I had. And then on the bottom is the pink. So felting needles punch into, there's no thread. So there's no thread to be used at all. So what you do is just with the needles, you punch through the fibers here, and it brings up whatever the secondary color is. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So when you go into all of your, when you go back to the tutorials, right here, Help Center, and let's close this and let's go to, there's a whole category called felting embroidery, and you can make it freestanding. And this is multiple layers. And then there's the single layer. So what I can do is this, these are the designs in the single layer. Now I'll go back and find the designs, and let's see if I pop this up again. Oh, I don't know if I can. Nope, I'm gonna have to go in a different way. Go back in. Yeah, come on. I don't want to do that. I want to go down here. Boy, oh boy, come on. Sorry. So now I'm gonna go into multi-layers. There we go. So what you do is this example that I showed you is a multiple layer. So it shows you how to prepare for felting, blah, 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 stitch out, all of that. But the content is those 3 designs are multiple layers. So there's only 6 felting designs on the machine, but there are, I don't know if there's any on mySewnet yet. I don't think so. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. Because I made some of them. What am I thinking? I made that wreath. So that is where what that is doing for you is sorting all of your embroidery techniques into categories, making it easier to find them. Okay, and just kind of have to open them up to see what each one of them does and look for it in the content part. The instructions is one thing, but then these are all the content of a reverse applique. All right. Can you think of any other questions?
I'm sure I will eventually, but not right now.
Okay, good. All righty. So what I want you to do is if you want to learn some of the other things that are in the book, then by all means, just reach out to me.
Okay.
Send me an email and we'll set up a different, we'll set up a Zoom time to be able to do that.
Okay.
All righty.
Sounds good.
Okay, let me stop the recording.